The LWS Open at Idlewild guarantees very few things, but one thing it does guarantee, it delivers action each and every year. It's Tournament Central on the Disc Golf Network, wrapping up an incredible weekend of action here in Kentucky and starting things off right where we should with Gannon Buhr. Gannon, is Grant Zellner here in studio. I want to congratulate you on an incredible weekend of golf. I want to ask you, after a few moments, how do you feel at this point when winning is becoming, well, we'll never say old hat, but it is becoming a little bit more routine in your life? How do you feel?
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's the drive to win is always still there, and it almost gets more and more every tournament that I want to win even more. Like, I know coming into this day, I was actually really nauseous on hole one because I was so nervous, and I had to calm myself down because of how scared I was. I remember I told Kevin warming up, I don't even know why I play disc golf if I'm gonna get this anxious and so have so much anxiety going up to play, but the feeling after kind of just overrules that a little bit. I guess in a way though, I'm working so hard for the win, but when I get to the win, it almost I have to say with every win, it feels a little bit less and less of I don't know, an achievement, just because I've already got multiple wins on the tour this year, but so I guess the reward of winning isn't as special as maybe it used to be. I know that kind of sounds stupid because my first one was the USDGC, but the drive to win almost gets bigger every single tournament.
Well, you have won 3 Elite Series events on the year now. You're the first to do that so far this season. Add a couple of silvers to that tally. What do you attribute the success in 2023 to? Is it actually improving on any skills on the course? Is it just maturity and experience being on tour? What is it that you can attribute this success to?
Definitely the maturity and experience, because I feel like as I get better, these weekends that I am up there by the top, it almost feels easy. It feels like I should be doing that every weekend. And I'm still working on ironing out some things in my game that way I can kind of be like Calvin, where he's up there every single weekend. That's definitely my goal. Winning is obviously super important to me as the year approaches, end of the year approaches, and I just want to keep working hard, keep practicing, and get more wins hopefully to finish the season.
The spotlight is on you now, to be sure, in a way that maybe it wasn't yet when you won USDGC last year. What have you been learning about life on tour as a professional athlete? What have you been learning that maybe you didn't know before and you couldn't have learned until you actually started living the life?
Yeah, so there's those weekends where you feel when you're off and it feels like you'll never get it back. This is a very common saying, but when you're on, you feel like you won't lose it. And I really hope I can take that into the next event. Typically after a win, I have had pretty rough events, so hopefully I can bounce back at Deglow. Definitely not my favorite course on tour, but hopefully I can play well. And like I said, late season wins are very important. So I know we got a couple big tournaments coming up, and I'm going to give it my all and continue to have fun with all my friends on tour. And I really just enjoy this amazing life I have, because it's better than 99% of everyone. So I couldn't feel more blessed to be here.
Gannon, a final question. You're clearly living things event to event, shot to shot. You have a young man's fearless perspective of the sport. Do you have long-term goals, though? Do you try to peak, for example, when the majors come? Are you thinking in those kinds of longer-term feelings when it comes to what you're trying to do with your game over the course of not just a week to a week or a round to a round, but knowing, for example, that Worlds is a few weeks out and USDGC is a month or so after that? Are you thinking in those longer pieces of life right now at all?
A little bit. I definitely focus on the majors. The majors are obviously important because I feel like you always get remembered for being a major winner, but maybe in 3-4 years, no one's going to remember I won Idlewild. So definitely those majors they're a little bit longer lasting, more important for, just even contracts, just your career and your popularity. I definitely want to work on my popularity, obviously, always just being nice to fans, making sure I'm always there for the people that come out to, come to see us play. It means so much to us because we wouldn't be here without them. And, just really enjoy and take in everything.
Well, Gannon, at the risk of contradicting a champion, I want to tell you this is a performance that we will remember for a very long time. Congratulations for what you accomplished this week at Idlewild. Best of luck down the road. Thanks for chatting with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Another incredible performance this week was Calvin Heimburg's. He finished second. He actually improved his average finish on the year, and that's hard to do when your average finish is in the top 5 already. But that's what Calvin did. We caught up with Calvin right after his round today.
Calvin Heimburg. Calvin, second place finish. You make another podium. What's this feeling like, getting the second place, being right there, trying to push for that first place finish, but coming up with that second place today?
Yeah, falling short never feels good. I don't know. If it's supposed to feel a different way, but I played well out there today. A little bit of a slow start. It was my best round of the weekend out here, so I can't be that upset with it. But yeah, I would have liked a little bit better of a start to kind of be in it, a little sooner.
100% from Circle 1, though. That's something positive to take away. Are there any other, positive takeaways that you're going to bring with you to the rest of the season and into Pro Worlds?
And last week and most weeks, so I can't. There's not a whole lot to change. It's just need to be a few less mistakes out there throughout the entirety of the tournament, because they add up. But yeah, I'm feeling really good and looking forward to the last few events.
So with the last few events in mind, is there anything particular that's going to come into your preparation?
Nothing in particular. We got a much different course next week at Deglow. It's a lot more elevation and a lot longer, so it's just getting the distance drivers dialed in for next week, and keeping the putter where it's at.
Calvin, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on another podium finish. We'll see you at the next one.
Thank you. Good.
Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, rejoins us here in the booth talking about an incredible day of action, Terry, which started with you and I putting our prognosticator hats on, trying to guess what it was going to take this down. But then you go out on the course and you watch Gannon Buhr go 6 for 6 to start the day, including 4 Circle 2 putts. I want to ask you honestly, how early in the round did you think to yourself, I think Gannon's got it?
Well, I was, just as I asked him in the champion interview, I remember thinking, how could anyone beat you? How could they catch up to you? If you don't miss anything, well, clearly you're going to go on to win it. And when he got all the way through even hole 5, which sometimes feels like a bonus birdie, that's when I started thinking, man, this guy feels unstoppable. And you got to catch yourself, especially at this course, knowing how diabolical the final few holes are and that anything can happen. But I had a really good feeling early on, and that's not to dismiss any of the other players, but just Gannon looked unstoppable.
The only bad luck that Gannon had to face during the course of the day came in the last 2 holes. It was too late to matter. He had an unfortunate and unlucky roll into OB on 17. He buries the putt anyway to save par. And then on 18, a birdie putt, a birdie that wouldn't have mattered, bounces off the pole and back out of the basket. His demeanor when bad things happen, it doesn't seem to change. He's got the confidence that he can come back from anything. What are you seeing in him in terms of his interaction with his card mates, his caddy, even the fans? Is he just a robot out there?
You can tell that he cares, and you can tell that those things still get to him, and sometimes he'll have a reaction. Yes, it was the final hole, but look at the kind of the face that he gave on 18 when that one came out on him, and now maybe he was already thinking like, oh, go figure, and as we all said, good thing that really didn't matter considering how good that putt looked. He is emotional out there, but it feels like he can forget relatively quickly. Even if he does have a minor outburst, he forgets forgets quickly and then moves on to the next hole. And then I feel as if I was reining in putts from deep in circle 2, that would also make me forget prior mistakes. As Ian and Philo like to say, there's good putting can always cover up a poor approach or a poorly placed drive. And Gannon Buhr, we know he's just so deadly from such long range that it allows him to have that short memory.
We talked about whether or not the race to 30 would be what it took to take this down. One other player did make it to 30. It was Calvin Heimburg. If it weren't for Gannon Buhr's performance, we'd be talking about Calvin right now. So let's talk about Calvin anyway. He actually improves on his average finish. That's not an easy thing to do when your average finish is already in the top 5. Calvin, a model of consistency, and he showed that once again this weekend.
Yeah, you really stole the word I was thinking. That's consistency. Calvin is often putting himself in the running for an event. Today, he had fight all the way to the very end. And even if he's not winning, you see him in those top couple of podium spots. And Calvin is in the lead in our Disc Golf Pro Tour standings for that exact reason. He doesn't give up on any given event. There's times where he will kind of turn on the dial a little bit too late, and he even said he had a late start to today's round. So sometimes he's playing catch up in that final round, but no matter where he is at the end of the round, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, he's in the top 3, he's in the top 5. He's always there, and that's why, again, he's standing on top of the Disc Golf Pro Tour standings.
It was 8 under for the first 12 holes on the day, and he said that was a slow start. That just boggles the mind and shows the excellence at the top of the field in the MPO division. It's remarkable stuff. Also remarkable, I don't want to take anything away from Isaac Robinson, who comes back after a victory here last year and finishes on the podium the very next year. That's not an easy thing to do. It's sort of like having to prove your shot in a game of horse. Isaac Robinson does it. Another masterful performance, and we got a chance to hear from Isaac. We'll let you in on that after the break on the Disc Golf Network.
I'm asked all the time, why do you play disc golf so much? The best answer I can think about is, there's just something about disc golf. You might think it's just like any other sport, but I can promise you this is not the case. Disc golf is the walking nature, the closing of your computer, the discipline that it requires, that sound of those chains. I don't know what it is. The whole world should have the opportunity to try it. Let's grow the sport.
My name is Ricky Wysocki. I founded the Saki Bomb Foundation as a nonprofit organization committed to growing the sport of disc golf with America's youth. The foundation's First Putt initiative puts 50 discs and 1 portable basket in the hands of PE teachers across the United States at no cost to the school. We've already sent First Putt packages to schools in all 50 states with the generous support from our sponsors. If you want to be a part of this movement, visit SakiBombFoundation.org. Thank you for growing the sport of disc golf with us.
All right, we're here with Isaac Robinson. Isaac, 3rd place finish, coming back as the returning champ. Something about this course just doesn't want to see that repeat champion.
I know.
Can you speak to that for a second?
Yeah, I think it's so hard to navigate these trees just consistently. You can be an inch off one direction and, you're not getting birdie. So a lot of holes are very tight, very tricky, and I think that's why we haven't seen a repeat winner.
100% fairway hits, though, today, so you must have been feeling good off the tee.
Yeah.
So what was the difference maker?
Yeah, I was a little shaky on the putts. It was a little rough start. I don't think I got a birdie till hole 6. Hole 3. But got a bogey in there somewhere. And you just really need to kind of start hot here. And that's exactly what Gannon did, which allowed him to kind of coast a little bit down the backstretch. So, yeah, just a little shaky on the putts, really.
So we got one more Elite Series event before Pro Worlds. There's a lot of ramping up, kind of fine-tuning and stuff like that. What is that going to look like for you for these next two events in particular?
Yeah, I'm super excited for Worlds. I think, that's those courses I think are very similar to this course, very tight, very wooded. So I want to be putting all my efforts into practicing for Worlds. D-Glow does not play to my strengths, and so I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to do my best, and then but mentally be preparing for Worlds.
Well, hey, you got the PDGA Champions Cup, under your belt. That's good momentum. You got a second or third place finish here. We've got a lot working for you, ramping up for that next major. So Good luck. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thank you.
Terry Isaac Robinson, not unlike Gannon Buhr, sort of showed up on a lot of people's radars by winning a major first and foremost. Now Isaac proving he's no one-hit wonder. He's no flash in the pan. Isaac is really showing a certain maturity that maybe comes only from stepping out into the arena and experience it. What are you seeing in terms of growth in Isaac Robinson's game?
Well, I'm going to lead by saying I still love his putt. I know he said it was a little shaky or maybe hesitant today, apprehensive, whatever the case might be. I still love his putt. It's so effortless, and it looks like he's just out there playing catch with the basket and just simply tossing it over to the basket. And when his putter's on, of course, he can be so fun to watch. What I've been seeing with him is he's been pretty consistent as of late. We're striking in the middle part or the latter part of this season, which is going to bode well for him as he moves into the World Championships. He admittedly says that the D-Glow isn't necessarily his strong suit in terms of how the toboggan course lays out for him, but I still wouldn't be betting against him. It's so fun to watch him play. The other thing I want to say, though, is yes, he didn't repeat here this weekend, but the fact that he battled all the way to the end to find himself just a few strokes away from defending his title is still incredibly impressive. In fact, he's probably the closest we've seen to anyone defending their title on the following year, and there's certainly some consistency and something to be said about that. So congrats to Isaac on his podium finish.
Kevin Jones has been on our radar for a long time. He's been a top-notch player on the Disc Golf Pro Tour for many years now, but he hasn't been making a lot of noise in 2023. This week, he sort of quietly plays his way up toward the top of the field by final day's action and then puts together what ends up being a very, very solid event for KJ. He ends up solidly in the top 10 in a multi-way tie for 7th. What is it that KJ can use from this event to build on as he tries to get himself back into top form?
Well, and it's crazy to say that a 7 under and he actually lost so much placement with a 7 under. Most players would be relatively happy with a 7 under here today, except for the field really decided to go off. So Kevin can take this good, solid performance here this weekend. We've talked all weekend long about the challenges that this course offers. You can take that, whether it's not necessarily similar at a D-Glow, it's similar at a Brewster Ridge where the World Championships will take place. It's similar when you get to the Tour Championships down in North Carolina. So you see some of those similarities, and Kevin Jones playing in front of the big gallery, the big crowd, and on the big stage. Championship Sunday, I liken it to what we saw from Madison Walker on the FPO side. It's a spot she hasn't been in as of late, but it has to kind of maybe reinforce some of those good vibes, some of those feelings of saying, hey, I belong here. And so even if it was a little slip up today, I think he can take a lot of what he had this weekend and use that momentum carrying forward into the latter part of the season.
Nate Hecker, Matty O, Ricky Wysocki, all with decent weekends. Kyle Klein, another player who sort of quietly plays his way into a top 5 with an incredible effort on the day today, bogey free, plus an eagle to shoot a 12 under par on the final day's action at a very challenging course, a 12 under par that would have been a hot round if it weren't for a couple of other even hotter ones today. We caught up with Kyle as he stepped off of hole 18 this afternoon.
All right, we're here with Kyle Klein. 12 under, great finish. How's that feel wrapping up the tournament that way?
That feels great. I mean, to come back with 2 double-digit rounds after I had a mediocre first round feels great, just to know I can recover and play how I know I can play on this course.
Yeah, I mean, an eagle and then a little bit of a break and then 7 straight birdies to close it out. I mean, what does that say about momentum when you're thinking about, D-Glow?
It means a lot. I mean, it means, at least at this course for sure, when you're on, you're on. When you're hitting gaps, it feels like there's no hole you can't miss, and it feels great going into next week.
And just real quick, we'll touch on next week. You've had some good success in Michigan at D-Glow. Little runner-up finish a couple years ago. What are you reflecting on when you get prepared for that event, and then ultimately from there to Pro Worlds?
I'm trying to really focus on the shots I know how to throw on that course. Nothing's really changed. I've played 5, 6, or 7 tournaments of that course throughout my career, so I know a lot of the shots, and it's just all about focusing on those and throwing what I know.
Sure. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you shred the toboggan course. Congratulations again on today, and we'll see you there.
Thank you.
Perfect.
If you didn't join us until after brunch and then a Sunday afternoon nap, you missed a lot this morning. The FPO field out in style, and Val Mandujano doing things. We'll cover what you may have missed right after this on the Disc Golf Network.
What people are going to notice when they pick up the Supreme Series is superior grip, superior durability.
The inspiration of creating a new disc line for Dynamic Disc was to actually step up the quality even more.
Our friends over at Latitude 64 have to have special molds made. And this Supreme line of plastic is truly a premium plastic. It's a premium disc, and you will know it when you touch it and when you throw it, that it's as good as it gets.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
I came into this tournament where I didn't want to play, if I'm being honest. I just didn't feel like it was my week, and I called my mom and I told her, and she's like, you felt the same way in Portland and you managed to pull it off, so maybe this is your week. And so I think I went into this week just with no expectations and just trying to throw the disc as well as I can and how I remember. And I feel like I finally got the rhythm of it.
Well, the form did look great, and of course it was very effective out there. Hole 13 felt like kind of a round breaker. It did yesterday, and it even did so today as well. Could you feel that shift in momentum, or did you feel any comfort once you guys were done with hole 13 today?
Honestly, I felt no comfort. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know any scores. I didn't know the score until Alexis came, I think, on 16, and she told me, like, oh, you're leading by 8. And I was like, I didn't want to know the score. And I was like, thanks. You put a little more pressure on me.
Thanks, sis, for the spoilers, right? So that maybe answers my next question. What is it about your sister being able to join you on the bag to walk you through the last 3 holes to bring this home?
Honestly, she just reminds me of how much we put into this game and how much we worked to be where we're at now. So every time I look at her, it just brings me back to when we decided to make this our career.
Terry, to try to sum up the weekend that was the FPO field here at Idlewild, just 5 players at even par or better. You've got Madison Walker fighting her way into a top 5 finish, showing up in the second half of the season as she often does. Missy Gannon there in the top 5. Holland Hanley knocking on the door as per usual for her. Owen Scoggins in the mix. But it really was a day all about Valerie Mandujano getting back to form and truly putting that injury behind her.
Yeah, we saw that she started off hot, getting birdies on the first 2 holes, and then somewhat maintaining. She did struggle there on hole number 7, but as you're looking at her scorecard, even when she didn't necessarily need the birdies, she continued to rack them up. And what I saw out of that was really consistent putting. She made almost everything inside the circle this entire weekend. She wasn't particularly effective or have a lot of opportunities from circle 2, but everything inside circle 1, and we all know you drive for show, you putt for dough, you cover up mistakes. There's so many things that good putting can do for you, and Valerie's putting and overall form looked great this weekend.
And there she is, off to a 6-stroke victory, heading into the part of the season that contains a couple of majors yet to be played. Valerie back to form at just the right time. Well, let's close out the MPO field one more time by looking at some players who showed some form off in their own right today. I want to first talk about Nikko Locastro. Nikko Locastro, 25 under par for the event, a 13 under par effort today. Pretty hot stuff from Nikko. That's why we made sure to catch up with him after his round.
Nikko Locastro, excellent final round there. 13 under, pretty hot. We were saying just a second ago, you went bogey-free the last 2 rounds. What does that mean, like, at this point in the season?
You know, on this course in particular, it's just a very challenging, highly demanding track, you know, shot for shot the whole way through. So to go 2 rounds in a row bogey-free, I definitely, you know, I'm feeling some confidence walking off the course. Had a great round going, 8 out of 9 on the first 9 holes, and had an eagle in there. And I was really just kind of feeling my game, feeling the confidence, and just allowing myself to flow. I felt like I was in a really comfortable state of mind, and I feel like that helped me today.
Looking at your stats, it looks like getting off the tee, you were super...
Honestly, I feel like I was playing pretty conservative off the tee pads, just leaving myself opportunities to perform on a second shot and leave myself in a position to get up and down. And yeah, I feel like my drives are just really clean and smooth today. I don't feel like I was, you know, left or right very often. I was just keeping them in play, and I made some good putts down the stretch as well. So definitely feeling good about it.
So at this point in the season, you know, what are you taking away from Idlewild into the next event, so particularly Pro Worlds?
Honestly, I feel that my game has took a turn in the right direction right now, and what better time before the World Championships. And I think I just need to work a little bit harder off the course and just align my life and make sure that I feel comfortable every time I step on the disc golf course. I feel like that's where I'm at right now. I just want to ride this momentum out. I shot a hot round, 13 under, walking off Idlewild, and hopefully it puts me in a good position to finish this tournament out.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of time left for some fine-tuning, and we'll see how it pays off at Worlds.
Absolutely. I want to give a shout-out to Lone Star Disc for having my back all year, and then check out sacreddisc.com when you guys get a chance. We just launched a new disc golf brand called Sacred Discs, and we're doing a lot of really exciting stuff, and I appreciate all the support from everybody out there in the disc golf world, and just stoked to be here, 34 years old. I'm still competing with the best of them, so feels great.
Great. Nikko, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate y'all. See ya.
Not to be outdone, Paul Ulibarri gets off to a slow start on day number 1, and then on days 2 and 3 here at Idlewild, he goes 1 stroke off the hot round of the day to finish in the top 5. We had to find Paul when he finished up here on day number 3, and we managed to do so.
Yeah, a couple of big putts there to finish it up and get you down to that 13.
Mm-hmm.
What was going through your head during those last 2 putts?
You know, it's just been, oh my gosh, a struggle all year, and then felt like I had something going, and kind of stayed calm, you know. Just dropped a couple late, and yeah, it was good. It was one of those calm days. I had a great group too, and I was able to finish very strong. I made a sick putt on 18, which felt extra special. It's been a long time since I had a good one, really.
And, you know, we've been talking to players that are coming in with these hot rounds right now, and, you know, the timing is really lining up for everyone, right? We're going to see some exciting stuff at D-Glow and then at Pro Worlds. Absolutely. Like, reflect on that a little bit.
No, it's good. I mean, the talent out here is insane. You know, it's like everybody, even on my card, was fractions away from just shooting the same round I shot, you know. And I was fractions away of shooting actually better. So it's like you have to get better out here, otherwise you're going to get lapped. and that's what we're seeing. It's gonna be great for the fans, moving forward, especially through D-Glow, the playoffs. World Championships is coming up, and everybody seems like they're hitting their stride. And that's, really what we play for, is to kind of hit that good mode right before Worlds.
Yeah. So with that, all that being said, what are you taking away from this weekend? Like, what's the point that you're going to reflect on as you get into those final preparations?
Like I said, man, I've been building all year. I mean, I missed the first 9 cuts of cuts. I say cash. I missed the first 9 cashes in the beginning of the year, and I jumped from like 170th in points to now I'll probably be pretty close to that 32nd or somewhere up there. And so I'm reflecting on that, man. It's a great turnaround for me. I was in the lowest of the low I've ever been in my career, so I'm just building, man, just building. And it's nice to have a hot one, I know if I still got it in there, and if everything goes my way, I can still win.
Well, we'll see you at the next one.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
Well, Terry, Idlewild delivered yet again, and I find it striking that Idlewild is only a 3-day tournament. Here we are on Sunday evening. We're all going to get dinner at a normal dinner o'clock sort of a time, and yet, I don't know about you, I feel gassed. I feel like this tournament takes a lot out of the players, and now they have a fast turnaround for a 4-day event at D-Glow, which starts on Thursday. What are your thoughts about how these players are going to recover? They're going to get down the road to Michigan and be ready to go on that tricky and tough up and down toboggan course.
Yeah, I don't envy the grind that they're going to be on here for the next few weeks. We heard Danny talk quite a bit about how players are feeling with the World Championships around the corner. This upcoming weekend being the 4-round event, Elite Plus playoff event that we're going to see over at D-Glow. And that's not on an easy track. As you just mentioned, up and down at the toboggan is going to take a little extra in you to have some more gas in that tank, so to speak. And so they will make the trip over to Michigan. I wish them all the best. I'm going to be back in the booth personally over on the West Coast visiting with the Jenkins family, who, again, has just celebrated the birth of their son, Luca. So I wanted to get that in there and say hi to them. But our players on the grind, they know what's at stake. They know they want to have everything dialed in. The toboggan should whip them into shape, and then a lot of them will likely take the week off after that so that they can prepare for our World Championships. And congratulations to our winners yet again this weekend in Val Mandujano along with Gannon Buhr. Such impressive performances.
They were indeed, and it was a pleasure to be a part of those performances in terms of bringing them to the viewers. Thanks, Terry, for everything you do. Safe travels yourself, as you've got about a 7-hour or so drive home this evening before you hit the road yet again, bringing us great coverage of these events right here on the Disc Golf Network. And I'll be back as part of Tournament Central next week as well for an exciting long weekend at D-Glow. Until then, for Terry Miller, I'm Grant Zellner signing off. Tournament Central for give or take 100 hours or so, and then we'll be right back on your favorite screen right here on the Disc Golf Network. We'll see you down the road.